Hello, everyone, and welcome back to It All Starts With a Wish podcast. My name is Rachel.
And I'm Mark.
And spring is sprung.
Yeah, I guess so.
Maybe.
It's nice out there, but we're
in New England, so I might go back to being cold.
Yeah, and we're all sick, so like that doesn't feel springy.
No.
Ridiculous.
And it's not allergies, because that would feel pretty springy.
Whoever said that having a young kid means you always get sick was correct.
Yeah. You actually brought this in, though, so...
I feel like you weren't feeling good before me.
All right, let's not point fingers.
There were people at work, though, who got sick.
Yeah, I haven't been sick.
Yeah, I might have.
Yeah, I think it was you.
Anyways.
It's fine.
What are we talking about today?
A really big question that a lot of clients ask me for advice on, and that's what to bring with you to the parks in your park bag.
Your joy.
What is a park bag?
And hope and energy and excitement.
Yeah,
That's
but
what
you
should
actually need some items.
Yeah, you should bring a park bag with
There's
you.
a few items that I think are nice to have on you.
Oh, definitely.
You know?
Not maybe even need to have on you.
Probably need. Yeah, some of them are necessary.
So, where should we start? I think with the bag itself is an important thing.
Yes, I definitely think so.
You will see some people who look like they're going to war.
Yeah, we don't need to stuff a backpack or multiple bags full.
But they have the tactical backpack with 50,000
the army
pouches,
backpacks,
and they're ready to go.
Popcorn buckets attached, sweat towels ready. Let's go.
They're ready to go.
They are ready to go.
That is way too extreme. And remember, whatever you bring with you, you have to carry.
Yeah.
And deal with throughout the course of the day. And you're probably not going to want to leave that backpack if you go on a ride somewhere. So you're going to have to worry about that backpack on rides and making sure you don't leave it in restaurants.
Yeah,
and stuff
I think the
that.
biggest thing to start with is going to be size.
Yes, this is what I'm getting to.
Yeah, biggest thing to start with if you're thinking about a park bag would be the size of it. 1, you have to carry it. 2, it needs to fit by your feet in a lot of rides or in that little pouch that they have in the back of rides. So I think crossbody backpacks are really good. We've even done just small backpacks, small JanSport ones.
Small, but not too small, I think is my advice here.
A typical...
You don't want a super tiny backpack.
Okay, can I give you a really unpopular opinion for the Disney adults out there? The Disney Loungefly bags are not a good park bag.
Bold statement.
1, they're really expensive, and I'm not going to put it at the bottom of my feet in a ride for it to get stepped on or put it on the ground. And 2, there's really not that many compartments to put things in. And I know they're really cute, and they are cute. And I guess if I wasn't going on any rides and I was just walking around and I had my little backpack that was like a purse, then maybe. But I just feel like they're kind of small.
They are a little on the smaller end.
The small side.
I think you want small, but not too small. You don't want a massive backpack.
No,
but you also don't
backpack.
Want a backpack that you can't really fit anything in.
Right.
And there's not going to be extra space if you buy stuff.
Right.
I think a key idea with these backpacks, and I was going to talk about this last, but you want space in that backpack because you're probably going to buy something that you're not going to want to carry around for the rest of the day. So having a little extra space already at the start of the day, you know that A, it's not going to be super heavy at the start of the day, but B, you can also put some of the stuff that you buy and you don't have to carry around bags with you in addition to your park bag.
True.
Right?
True.
Leaving that little bit of space. I think my biggest tip for this is number of pockets.
I was just going to say, number 2 would be the security line.
You want a maximum of 2 zippers. I'm a firm believer in this.
Yeah.
You want a big pocket and you want a small pocket. That's all that you want. When you go through Disney security, they now have these awesome machines that
X-ray
scan the
things.
backpacks, x-ray them. It's very high tech. But it does happen. You set something off, there's something in your bag that they don't like an umbrella or something that they see, and they're like, oh, it flags you, and then you have to have your bag actually inspected by a security person.
They have to open every single pocket.
I have seen this numerous times where people have 50,000 zippers, they have a utility bag, and they have to open every single one, and it takes forever. You don't want to do that. It's a waste of your time. 2 zippers, real easy. Security will like you too. You just open up the zipper, open up the other zipper, they look in, they move stuff around, done,
Good to go.
you're moving on.
Yep.
Too many compartments, too many zippers, you're going to add way too much time to the security line. Security people aren't going to like you. You're not going to like waiting for it. A simple backpack, 2 zippers maximum, not too big, but also not too small. I love our blue backpack that we have. I'm actually staring at it right now. I'm pointing at it. Not that any of you can see this because it's a podcast. But we have a Disney Studios backpack, and you can buy these. Rachel saw someone wearing this once in the parks and was like, I need to have one. And, of course, she bought it.
I found it. Found it on eBay.
But I love that backpack. I think it's a great park bag. There's not too many pockets, just a smaller pocket, a bigger pocket, plenty of room and space to keep things.
It's a smaller, like, school backpack. That's what it reminds me of. So it's a little bit smaller than a typical back-to-school backpack would be. Mm-hmm. So it is a really good size. And I don't think you need a big, fancy backpack. I think a lot of people bring, like, these hiking ones or, like, utility ones. And it's like...
Hiking backpack's bad. I'm just going to say that as someone who has a hiking backpack and uses their hiking backpack for actually hiking.
Yeah.
Those are made so that way you can stuff as much stuff into them as possible. And they have numerous zippers and compartments and stuff like that. That is going to be a pain in the butt if you have to.
Well, I was thinking for more comfort level.
Security.
Like, I think the fancier ones are a little, like, more comfortable on your shoulders.
Sure,
and not as, like...
You're not thinking about security.
No, I know.
You got to keep that in mind that you may get stopped at security.
All right.
It's going to be a lot tougher.
Number one thing that you are not going to the park without in your park bag.
Ponchos.
Really?
Ponchos or a raincoat.
That's the first thing you're putting in your park bag.
I'm putting in there.
Well, the first thing I'm putting in my park bag is a reusable charger.
Also very important.
Also
I
important.
will say that.
Also important. Okay, ponchos.
Depending on the time of year that you're going to Walt Disney World, I don't know if folks are familiar with the
climate of
Florida.
Yeah.
But there are 2 seasons in Florida: wet and
dry.
not quite as wet.
Well, not dry.
I'm joking.
Yeah.
Wet and the dry season is the actual
not
thing.
Not quite as wet.
But the wet season is the summer months. This is, remember, the headwaters of the Everglades literally lie in Disney World.
Oh, no.
Like the beginnings
of the
Kissimmee
people.
River.
I'm sorry.
The Kissimmee River feeds Lake Okeechobee, and Lake Okeechobee would historically feed the Everglades. Mm-hmm. We royally screwed up that ecosystem. We're trying to make it better. I won't go down that path. But the headwaters of the Everglades literally lie in Orlando. You are in the one and only ecosystem like that in the world. You get a ton of rain in the summer months. That is the wet season. Every afternoon, you're pretty much guaranteed somewhere in the afternoon.
Yeah.
You can almost set your watch to it.
Yeah, almost.
Between 2 and 4, you're probably going to get a thunderstorm.
Yep.
In the wet season. You got to be ready for that. You want to have your ponchos or your raincoats. I know people don't like ponchos. I know that people think, they don't look good, right? People are looking for style or whatever. But
you get those little booties to put on your sneakers.
Ponchos are nice in the sense that they are going to keep your whole body dry. Mm. A raincoat, and I bring raincoats a lot, but the raincoat, you got to remember what you're wearing for your pants. Okay, it's not going to keep your shorts dry.
Yeah.
So that is an important factor.
This kind of helps the water go just off your body and onto like your feet and not like your whole legs
it's hot,
and everything.
It holds in all your heat.
Yeah.
But it keeps everything dry. And when we're talking about our park bag, mm-hmm. it will also keep your park bag dry on your back.
Yeah, keep the backpack on and put the poncho over it.
Yes.
We have in the past brought a hiking backpack with a cover on the backpack. Like, you can get rain covers for hiking backpacks, so it's just a pouch that goes over mm-hmm. it, and you make it tighter. That was really complicated, and I didn't like that too much. I was going to make an addendum,
though, that, like, if you're going to use raincoats, bring a cover.
Well, yeah, I guess if you don't want a poncho, then it's very beneficial to have that cover.
Because those covers, and I have it for hiking and stuff like that, but they will keep your backpack
dry.
This
isn't your typical light rain. I mean, it pours.
It does. And
you're going to get soaked if you're caught out in it. And you can plan as much as, you want to, but we've been numerous times, and we usually go during the wet season, and we have been caught unaware. All of a sudden, we're walking in Epcot. We hear a little rumble in the sky. Look at the weather. it's going to start pouring. But sometimes it can come on a lot quicker than you think it is, and then you're soaked.
It is slightly variable. We try to be back at the hotel by that point in the day so that way you're not stuck in the middle of it. But
I'm actually thinking of one where we were
happen.
heading back into the park for dinner.
Yes.
And it was pouring.
Yeah, we were going to Teponidu.
Yeah, we were going back into Epcot and it was pouring and we were huddled under and we were going to miss our
Had a reservation that we had to get to. Yeah, that's why we went out. Otherwise,
that's
we
why
wouldn't
we
have.
went out in the rain. But we into the thick of it. That is what we did. But we made it and it was fine.
In the winter months, I will say though too, keep this in mind. Winter months is the dry season in Florida.
But it can
That
rain.
does not mean that it won't rain.
Yeah.
But you're probably not going to get an everyday afternoon thunderstorm.
Yeah,
Just
so I
doesn't
guess in
happen
the
as
dry
frequently.
season it's more of a just in case rather than you.
Anything can happen.
Yeah.
Right? All bets are off in Florida weather. So whether you're in the dry season or the wet season,
It could happen.
always have a poncho or a raincoat or a backpack cover or all of the above in your park bag
next
at
thing.
all times.
Ponchos, great. Number one for you. Number one for me is your portable charger. Be careful of the type you have. I have one that when you plug in, it kind of is a big rectangle and it holds a lot of juice. It does set off the security. And we found out the hard way a few times because we were trying to figure out what it was. And then a security guard finally said that it was probably anything dense like that. And I said, oh, it's my portable charger. So if you have a portable charger, awesome. Take it out with your cell phone as you walk through so that way you can show them that you have it and don't put it in the bottom of your bag.
They usually have it hold you out in front of your body. Like
Hold it out as you walk through so that way you can see it. But it does set it off, so be careful. Disney also, if you do not have a portable charger, they also have portable charging stations, and it is called Fuel Rod or Fuel Pod.
Yeah.
Pod?
Pods.
Yeah.
Fuel pods.
You do have to pay for it. I think it's like a couple of bucks. You get a charger and like the actual cord and the portable charger. You can then transfer them out at different kiosks. So if it runs out of juice, you give it back. It gives you another one. I did that, I think, at least one time before I got my own.
Yeah.
And it ended up working really well. I think I actually went home with it though. So if you do have your own, because they do sell them, you can bring that too, and you can switch it out. So
Save
it's
some
kind of
money that way.
Yeah, it's kind of cool that they have that. But
Something else to consider too is just bringing a charger itself. Disney is very good at having plenty of charging stations, both in the buses
the
and in
new
the parks.
buses,
The
I
new
was just gonna
buses,
say they did the update and they have all kinds of USB things in the chairs.
And
So
that's
really
something
fun.
that you really want. Even if you're not a cell phone user and you're like, I don't use my cell phone that much, I don't plan on using it.
But you will
You are going
for
to
your app.
probably have to with the
Yeah.
My Disney Experience app. That's where you're going to make all of your Genie Plus reservations. That's where you can do
Dining
all your mobile
reservations.
orders. You can
Yeah.
look up wait times on that phone.
You're probably gonna be on your
I try
phone a
my
lot.
hardest not to be on my phone a lot while I'm in Disney because I really want to enjoy the experience. But there are going to be times when you really want your phone to do something like a mobile order. It makes life so much easier and so much quicker. And that app can eat up a lot of juice. And you're going to want your phone to communicate with family members, especially if you're traveling with
pictures.
larger families. You're going to want to be able to shoot texts or make a phone call, like, where are you? We're here.
I also feel like
And
there's
pictures,
a
to your
lot of
point.
people trying to get on the Wi-Fi system too there. So I feel like with a lot of people, it just kind of drains your battery anyway because it's always searching for a signal in the background. I mean, you can put it on airplane mode and that kind of stuff to save some energy. But I just feel like it does just kind of drain on its own, depending on how old your phone is.
Yeah.
Mark.
I like my old
Hint
phone.
at you.
I
It
like
doesn't work
though.
anymore. You have to get rid of
Yeah,
it.
it's tough. Anyways,
Well, what's another thing that you would put in your park bag?
I'm going to stick with the theme of H2O, and I'm going to say water.
Okay.
You do not want to pay Disney prices for a water bottle. So I think that this is important, though. You don't want a massive water bottle that's going to weigh a lot.
I was going to say,
Water
are we
weighs-
packing like Poland Spring bottles or are we packing a refillable water bottle?
You're packing a refillable water bottle,
Okay.
I think. Remember, water weighs 8.34 pounds per gallon. Okay, it's pretty heavy liquid. I only know that because of the job that I do. But anyways,
That's not a
8.34
normal
pounds per
thing someone
gallon
knows.
is pretty heavy for a liquid. You don't want a massive water bottle. There are refill stations in almost all the parks located in different places. So find one that's not huge, but that does hold a decent amount of water. You know yourself. You know what I mean? So find the appropriate sized water bottle. Not too big, not too little. I wouldn't bring a tiny one, but I also would not bring one of those massive ones.
Pick one just out of experience that has a good seal on it.
Other good point. That's a great point. Yes.
So if it can shut all the way, or you can really screw on the top of it, because if it doesn't fit necessarily in like the actual drink pouch of your backpack and you have to put it inside your backpack, we have done that a few times where when we had a water bottle one time and it was like one of the pop tops.
And the top popped.
Well,
and
not
water
that.
Got everywhere.
When we were on Space Mountain, we put it in our feet and the actual whole bottle cracked. I mean, it was like a cheap one. Remember that green one?
It was, yes.
Yeah, it was
cheap.
like a cheap one. But when we stuffed our backpack in between our feet and stuff, the actual whole bottle cracked. And then I ended up using a Band-Aid.
You did use a Band-Aid.
To try to... It didn't work. As you can imagine. It did not work.
Anyways.
So it was short-lived, that water bottle.
A very...
But
good
a sturdy
quality,
one.
sturdy
Yeah.
one that seals well. You can hold it upside down and it's not going to spill. Like, that's what you're looking for. Not too big, not too little. But I think that is important because you do not want to be paying for water bottles in Disney. And again, there are certain stands that will give you free water in a cup.
But it tastes funny.
It is Florida swamp water, though, that they usually give you in those cups. So if you're not a big fan of that, like, I don't mind.
If I'm really thirsty, I don't mind.
But yeah.
All right,
a refillable water bottle. Important.
Next thing that is important for me and my skin tone is going to be sunscreen. Mm-hmm. That's the next thing going in my bag. I suggest always you put it on before you even get to the park. Depending on the time of year, I do think that in the winter months the sun might not be as strong, but you should still wear it. It's good for your skin. But bring sunscreen. Especially when you have kids and other people who will forget. I personally like the stick ones for your face. I think it's much easier and cleaner than putting lotion on your hands and then rubbing it all over your face. Or the spray ones, because I have walked through a few sunscreen clouds because everyone's spraying their sunscreen. And I'm like...
It's rough.
It's a lot. So it can be a little messy. I've also seen parents use... makeup brushes to paint on your kids' legs and so your hands don't get all messy. Yeah, it's fun. Well, I saw it and I was like, wow, that's amazing. But I like the sticks that they have now that you can put on your shoulders and rub everywhere without getting your hands all greasy and without spraying a cloud of sunscreen.
But bringing it with you, I think, is important.
Space.
A lot of people may just put it on in the hotel room and be like,
we're
going to leave it in the hotel room. You're probably going to sweat it off, or it's going to rain a lot, and it's going to rinse off.
Yep.
You're going to want to reapply throughout the course of the day. So pack that in your bag. You will
definitely
thank
sunscreen
us for that.
Yes. Next for you?
Hand sanitizer.
I knew this one was going to come up. He is a hand sanitizer fiend. In Disney.
So, especially in the world that we live in, there's a lot of people, you don't know who washes their hands after using the bathroom and stuff, and you're going to touch stuff, and you're not always...
I mean, you were bad before this pandemic world, but now you're definitely more aware of germs. But you always were cautious.
Yeah, you don't want to eat something before you wash your hands in Disney. You touch so much stuff, you have so many other people touching the same stuff. Rails and you really when you get off a ride, just a quick squirt of hand sanitizer to just kind of clean yourself off before you touch your face or something. Or sometimes you're in a quick service restaurant and you may not want to go to the actual bathroom to wash your hands before you eat.
Takes up time.
Just a quick little squirt. It's so nice. To just have it, quick little squirt, then you feel
Stop
confident
saying that
you can eat.
Stop saying that.
Listen, all I'm saying is...
A quick little squirt?
Quick little squirt of sanitizer. Not a bad thing. So I do think you should have... I would not don't put a full-size bottle of Purell in there, right? But they have those little to-go packets. Those work nicely. So definitely put that in your bag. You will thank me. And you probably won't get sick because of it.
True. Yeah, that would be good. Don't get sick. I don't want anybody getting sick. This might be a little like unconventional, but I feel like it is beneficial. If you are going to start wearing sneakers to the park, either bring another pair of socks if you get wet or gross, and bring a pair of flip-flops in case that happens. So you don't have to walk around in wet sneakers. These don't have to be expensive flip-flops, especially because they're just being like shoved in your bag. But if you do get wet, there's nothing worse than wet sneakers to me.
And you're probably going to get a blister if you're walking
awful.
around in wet sneakers.
Terrible. And, you know, I'm all about the Disney fits, but some shoes don't last you more than like an hour.
Yeah.
So if you want to wear them for an hour and you want to get your picture and blah, 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 okay, great. But take them off, put them in your bag, switch out for a different pair, so your feet aren't absolutely killing you.
Yep. An extra pair of socks or a pair of flip-flops in your bag just in case you get
Sometimes
soaked.
even just having sneakers on all day. By the time I'm like waiting in line for the bus, I just want to take my sneakers off and like put flip-flops on. It's a little change. My feet still kind of hurt, but I just don't want to be in sneakers anymore.
Yeah.
So
definitely
for me, that's a big one.
Yeah.
For me.
Quick first aid stuff. So we're talking Band-Aids, maybe that moleskin stuff. Advil, Tylenol,
Yes.
like
Benadryl.
So things that people are going to trip and fall. Disney has a very good like first aid stations, and they have
Most of the
professionals
gift shops
who work
all
in there.
have first
so you don't
aid
really have
kits.
to worry about that. But sometimes you don't want to have to go and buy a Band-Aid because someone has a blister, or you don't want to go.
You're gonna pay $5 for 2 Band-Aids at the first aid
right,
stop,
or you don't want to go to the first aid station and get the Advil.
Yeah,
like
just
having
Advil.
that in your bag, people get headaches, people start to get sore. Advil, Tylenol, Band-Aids, moleskin, all that kind of stuff. You don't need a whole first aid kit, I don't think.
No, and they have the little travel ones though that can be helpful, like their little cases with just your basic necessities. But you can make your own.
Simple. I can't tell you how many times that's come in handy when someone gets a headache or someone has a blister and they need a Band-Aid.
Yeah, they have like these little 6-compartment pill cases that you can just kind of stock up. You can have stuff at your room. Just throw some stuff in there, especially if you're traveling with a group of people. Someone's gonna need it.
Yep, it's almost certainly gonna happen.
It's happened to me where
something
down in Disney makes my allergies flare up. I don't know what flower or tree it is, but every time we go, something in the state of Florida, in the Disney area.
Claritin before we go.
Probably,
for a week?
I probably should, but I had to go in
happen.
Frontierland. I had to find Benadryl in one of the spots, and I did, but it would have been a lot easier if I just had it on me. So.
And it could have helped a lot sooner.
Because I had to take the time to look for it.
I will also add to this urgent medicines that you have to have on because of issues that you have. Our son has an allergy. Bring the EpiPen, something that
that's kind of a no-brainer, but
that is. But
inhalers, EpiPens, insulin, anything that you're going to need or could need, please bring it. And they are also good about that kind of stuff. If it's in a bag, they'll check it out too. Like in security, some of those things might flag some things with needles or density and stuff, but they're just going to say, oh, okay, it's an EpiPen. You're good. I need it. Do not be caught needing an EpiPen without your EpiPen.
No, you don't want that.
No.
IDs and passes are a good thing to have in your bag. I don't like bringing my wallet to the parks, especially if you use a Magic Band. You can
Apple
just use
Pay
that to charge everything, or you're using your phone or whatever. But there will be moments where you're going to want your ID if you're buying an adult beverage and they card you. If you don't have your wallet, you're going to be out of luck.
It's still Disney and there are still rules.
So just having your ID, and like we used to do this with our DVC pass, like in order to get DVC discounts, you'd have to show your pass. Now it's on your phone.
Yeah.
So it's a little different.
You still might need your ID though to match the one on your phone.
Yeah. So I think that it's just worth having those like passes, or if you're an annual pass holder and you want like those discounts and you don't, just having those on you so that way you can get those discounts. They're going to ask to see it. You may not want to bring your whole wallet, but just bringing those things in a little clip and putting it in the small pocket in your bag, you want to have them on your person.
Yeah.
But you may not want to have your whole wallet in your pocket. So
yeah, that's going to get a little bit much. I know at least for the women and the men too. They do have like phone cases and stuff that have like kind of a wallet attached to it on the back that you can store some cards in there too. So you're just kind of slipping them into the back and then you can open it and then right there. So some people like to do that on vacations, or if you don't have a big park bag. I want to say that not everybody has to have a backpack either. Like when Mark and I go, there's one backpack for both of us. And then when we went with our son, we had one more that had like all of his stuff in it. It was lucky that we had a stroller to kind of put that underneath so we didn't have to carry 2 bags. But if you are another person, you want to just have your own stuff, I think fanny packs are great, or those little wristlets. Like those little purses, those little crossbody ones are great too. I like that fanny packs are coming back though, because they're very handy when you're walking around. But I don't think every person in your party needs a park bag. You could share.
Yep. Oh, definitely. Yeah.
You don't need to all
Everybody
wear a
doesn't need a backpack. That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
But
unless you
one
really
or two
want
per
your
group,
own,
depending on the size of your group.
Yeah.
Resort refillable mugs. Now, keep in mind, if you have your resort refillable mugs, right, this is very specifically if you know that you're going to resort hop.
Yeah.
You can't refill them in the parks. You just can't. Don't bring them to the parks expecting to get free refills. You're not going to get them. But if you resort hop after, you can fill those in any of the resort hotels on property. So if I'm going to Magic Kingdom and I know I'm going to go to the Contemporary, Grand Floridian, Polynesian in the hot part of the day to kind of take a little break, bring your resort refillable mug, because why pay for a drink when you already paid for it, right?
Yeah.
If you know you're not going to resort hop, it may not be worth the space, but if you think that it's a possibility, it doesn't take up that much space, it's worth bringing. And I'll also say, depending on the season, extra layers of clothes is also...
Yeah, just because it's Florida doesn't mean it doesn't get a little chilly.
If you're traveling in the winter months, a sweatshirt or an extra shirt or something like that is always a good thing to have on you.
Bring some layers.
Especially for when it gets dark and it may get a little chilly.
That sun goes down, it gets chilly. We've been in January. I've been a few times in January, and Mark has been also, and I've been in jeans, sneakers, a tank top, a long sleeve shirt, and a sweatshirt, and I was still a bit chilly. This was at night, sun had gone down, but it can get a little chilly. I mean, you can definitely tell the locals and then the people, the northerners that are coming down, because we're like, wow, it's still really warm because we're from the north and this isn't cold, and then the locals are very, very chilly and they're in like a full coat. I wouldn't go that far, but after living down there for a little while, we can definitely see how quickly you acclimate, though. Like,
oh yeah,
you acclimate really quick.
You do.
So I do get the locals bundling up when it's 50 degrees. Though it's like 50 degrees now, and we're in t-shirts outside. So, but yeah, definitely layers of clothes.
Anything else that you can think of that people should have in their park bag? I think that pretty much sums up.
I mean, I think those are definitely the essentials. Anything else would kind of be, personalized to you. I think I always have my ears in there, or they're on my head.
Rachel's mini ears always wind up in the bag at some point throughout the course of the day. So
they get in the way sometimes. And you take them off for rides, and you take them on and off, and you need somewhere to put them. And so I don't collect a lot of things, but that is one of them that I do get every time we go down there. So
you do.
I'm sorry, but I do. There are other things, depending on who you are traveling with, one of those being children, that we will do a whole separate episode on, because children require a little more attention.
Yes. We'll do a infant toddler edition and then like a older kids edition of like what you should be bringing with you, because obviously there are certain things that you're going to need to bring for different age groups that is not covered in this episode.
Right.
So we will do a kid specific and a toddler infant specific.
This was just a more generic park bag for an adult.
Yes. If you are traveling with an infant and do not bring diapers to the park, like, you're in trouble.
Yeah, don't say you listened to this and you said Mark and Rachel said I didn't need to bring them.
That's right. There will be specific kid editions for this as well. But if you're just traveling normally, like, these are things that we feel like everybody should bring to the parks regardless of age.
Yeah. So hopefully that will be out. We'll do that one soon. We have a few other things up our sleeve, you know.
So we hope that you found this helpful in planning for your next trip to Walt Disney World and things that you should be bringing with you to the park. As always, follow us on our social media accounts. You can send us an email at startswithawish.podcast@gmail.com. And if you're looking to plan your next trip to Walt Disney World or any Disney
destination,
thank you.
You're welcome.
You can reach out to Rachel at rmello@mickeystravels.com.
Yeah.
And remember, folks, it all starts with a wish. We'll see you real soon.
Bye.